Hello and welcome back. This is Heidi's Homemade and this is Heidi. Hello. This is episode number 58, Flosstube Extra. It's an extra because we are going to do a WIP Parade, but it's going to be a Maynia New Starts WIP Parade. So, yeah. I did Maynia a couple years ago and started 31 new projects, and I really enjoyed it for the most part. A couple years ago when I did it, I did not fully kit up everything in preparation. I kind of went by the seat of my pants and decided, oh, I'm going to start this. Oh, I'm going to start this. I did a few things in prep, but not enough. So this year, when I decided to do Maynia, I did the prep work. So before May started, when the last Sundays of April, I went through and I picked out like 31 new things that I would like to start, and picked out fabrics for all of them, and then I started kitting up the flosses, and I kit up, I think, 25 things on that day, something like that. And so I still had like 5-ish left to kit up that I kit up a couple days ago. And a couple of them that I switched out because I didn't have some of the fancy flosses that would be required to do it if I wanted to do it that way, blah, blah, blah. So I switched out a couple things at the end. But I had decided that I didn't care if it was like one new start a day. I was just going to start 31 new things. So on a couple days I did like 2, especially if I finished something, which I did finish 3 of my Maynia New Starts. 4, technically. So I did go on and start something else because I had time, if I had time. Typically it would have been on like a Saturday or something like that. I did, however, because school is now out, I did spend most of my weekend starting new things, so that I would not have to do it this week. So this week I have a bunch of other stuff that I want to get done, so I didn't want to feel like I was running out of time, so I just went ahead and started a few things so that I would have them all done. And I had my 31 new starts done and ready, and are now WIPs. So that being said, in no particular order, I am going to start showing you my new WIPs. Okay, so let's see, I'll start here. Because I started 31 new things, I did not have enough project bags at the time to put them all into individual project bags. So most of these project bags, I have 2, 3, some even had 4 in them, depending on how many flosses and whatever I went with. They are not in any kind of partnering, other than maybe if they were like a series together, because there's a couple that were like a together type thing. But I have Halloween stuff with Christmas stuff. I have, yeah. So sometimes it was a matter of they're using the same fabric, so I'm going to use the same bag, that type of thing. So this one, in this case, is they use the same fabric. So this is what I have, and I did not cut apart the fabric until I went to stitch on it. So there's that as well. All right, so first one up, I will show you. I just started this one, so there's not a lot of stitching on. Some of these I have a lot of stitching on, and some of them I don't have a whole lot. This one, I do not have a whole lot. This one is the Yule Goddess by Tiny Modernist. And I am stitching her on 20 count raw, and I just have a little bitty start on her, this is what I have. It's the center of her bodice and going down. So that's what I have. Super exciting. I know. I'm using all the called for colors. And this is one that I did start like last night. And just to get it started. Obviously, she's going to need some extra time. Okay, moving on. This next one is the Little Stitcher, and this was so I ordered the set of magic mushrooms, and this was the freebie that came with that set. And so, because this one's like bright and pretty, I decided to start with this one. I am going to do all 4 of them. So this is the one I'm stitching on. And then, actually I show a pattern. These are the other 3. So this is what I have. And again, this is 20 count raw. I'm using the called for DMCs. And that's what I have done. I don't know how long I gave this one. I'm thinking this was probably a night start. So this was probably a good 2-3 hours of stitching, maybe, something like that. Probably a movie or so. I'm not really sure. So maybe 2 hours. But it doesn't really have too much left. It just has the leaves that go around the like stemmy thing. The name is backstitched, and then there's like a moon and a couple little twinkly things left. So that one should be a fairly quick finish once I get back to it. But I do plan on doing all 4 of them, so I don't know if I will consider those like mini finishes as I finish each one, or if I will consider it a finish once I finish all 4 of them. Okay, so there's 2. Moving on, this bag had 5 things in it, I think. But I finished a few of them. So, and I'll show you these briefly because I already showed them in my previous video. Flosstube number 57. Okay, so this one I finished. This is a JBW design, and this is French Country Crow. So Les Corbeaux. And then this one, another JBW design. This is French Country Ghost. So this is Les Fantômes. So those were in this bag. The next one, I have French Country Swans. Also by JBW Designs. And this is what I have so far. I am using, I can grab the floss here real quick. I am using Gentle Arts Cottage Blue for the swans. And I'm really liking the way that the color variegation is coming in. I think this is, I want to say this is Cafe au Lait from My Vintage Needlearts. It's a scrap off of a piece that I used for something else. And this is the Cottage Blue. It's a very pretty blue, pale blue with gray going through it. So there's that. And oh, Onyx. Onyx is the color. It's a Gentle Arts. That's what I used. I had a little bit left over from a different project. I think it was left over from a Wavy Ride, which is right there, that I used for the crow. Okay, moving on. The next one I have, not that I started them very randomly. I did a tiny decisions wheel and started them completely randomly. The next one that's in the bag is Around Bees by JBW Designs. This is the first round one that I've done of hers. I got this at Market. Yes? Yes. I had to stop and think about it. I'm like, it is one I got at Market. Yes, it is one I got at Market. And it calls for 2 colors. And I was originally going to do all 1 color. Because I think it's Bee's Knees that I'm doing it with. No, I'm doing Brandy. So, Cottage Garden threads, or Cottage Garden. Gentle Arts Simply Quaker threads. Brandy is the color that I'm using. And I had, where is it? I had originally thought that I would do it all in that color. And I need something to, there. I originally thought that I would do it all in that color. But as I was stitching on it, I felt like it kind of needs, I think, maybe another color. So I might pull out like a light yellow to, and I know it looks like I started that like way over. I don't know. Oh, this is a piece of 36 count white Zweigart linen. So, yeah. That was a bit confusing for even me. So, let me get those back in there before I lose them. And then I have one more piece in this bag. And this is Blackwork Peacocks by Joan and Elliot Designs. I had picked this up at one of the AZ Stitchers on the freebie table. Basically to force myself to try Blackwork. One of my friends, Carrie, she does Blackwork all the time and has told me many times that I would probably like it, but because I don't like backstitching like at all. So I've been very hesitant to try anything that has Blackwork in it, but I'm making myself. I really liked this pattern, so I figured I would give it a shot. So this is it's a midi 14 count fabric that I thought was really pretty with the peacock design, and I'm just using B5200 on it. So it's really going to, I think, stand out against that color. And I put like a whole strand of floss in. So it's got a fairly good start on that one. There's that. There's that. Okay. Next up is Arranging Mushrooms from Ink Circles. And this one I'm doing a little differently. I am only going to do the center. So like where these orangey mushrooms are right here, going up to the peak of the center. I bought a frame specifically to do it that way, and this is on 40 count dark cobblestone. I'm also going to be beading, instead of putting the dots on the mushroom caps, I'm going to bead them with little bitty beads, little bitty glass beads. So this is what I have so far. I am using the called for colors, and again, this is 40 count dark cobblestone. So this one I actually got a few hours of stitching, a decent amount of stitching on that one. There's that. Alright, this one, I gave it a very small start, and I actually kind of feel bad because I really like this pattern. But A Raven's Reply by Luminous Fiber Arts. And this one I'm doing on 18 count King's Gold from My Vintage Needle Arts. And this is all I have. So that is the size that it will be. That's going up across the bottom, and that's going up to the top of the pattern. So nothing too super exciting, but it is a good starting point, so I know where everything is going and how big it's going to be. Okay, the next one I have to show you, which I don't have a super great picture of. So this one is called Welcome to the Garden, and this is by Stitch Sprouts. You can find her patterns on Etsy, and basically, because you can't see the whole pattern, it has a border going along the outside and up, and then there's like spider webs up in the corners. It's like it's almost a square pattern, and then there's this nice, really pretty garden gate that is going to be super fun to stitch. It's almost all black, and then pops of purples and teals. And I am doing that on another piece of me dyed fabric, and that's how wide it is. And I think it's going to really look cool on this fabric. The fabric, I think, is showing slightly darker than what it is. It's a little bit more pastel. So there's my stitches. It is 18 count, so of course through the dyeing process it's probably closer to 20. But I did a whole strand of black in there, so that's the whole bottom part of the border and going up into, this is the start of the actual gate. So there is that. And that is everything from this bag. Ooh, sorry. Back in there. Okay. And then, let's see, this one I had picked up at AZ Stitchers off of the freebie table. This is actually one I picked up at the last time. And I picked it up because I wanted to put it in my classroom because it is Edgar Allan Poe. We loved for the love that was more than love. That is Annabelle Lee from Edgar Allan Poe. It's called Romance. And I am doing a complete my own pick colors. So I decided, because it's a Forbidden Fiber Co., I decided to do Forbidden Fiber Co. colors because I have a bunch of them. And these are the colors that I'm using. I've done 2 colors so far. I have not done, I'm sorry, I've done 3 colors so far. I have not done the other 2. But these are the colors that I'm doing. And this is what I have so far. I have not quite made it all the way over to this corner But this is what I have for my new start. In person, you can see the change of color a little bit better. Because this is like a deep red. These hearts are a deep purple, and then this is brown. The outside border is purple, and then it will have that pinkish orangey color going around with that to help lighten that up a little bit. And then the words are going to be green going into the red. And this is a me dyed fabric. On screen, it looks darker than what it is in person. In person, it's a very light. It's a light gray with a bit of teal undertone. But even like this, it looks cool. So I am super excited to put that in my classroom. So this one will probably be one that will get some more time on it sooner rather than later, so that I can have it framed and ready to go up into my classroom for next year. I don't know, because I haven't found out yet, but I might be doing some creative writing classes this year, and so I think that that would be kind of cool to have part of a well-known poem on the wall. So let's see, moving on. Moving on. The next up is Merry Meerkats by the Blue Flower. I had picked this up from Jingle Ball a couple years ago, and I had not started it yet, because you can see it's from 2023. And I really liked it, so I'm like, oh, I haven't stitched this yet. And this one is on a piece of 32 count Splash Mint Lugana. And this is what I have so far. So I am typically a center starter. So that is usually where you'll see me start. So that's the center guy, and he's a la. This is his fa la la. And then I went over and started working on the guy next to him. And the guy on the other side is the same color brown. So I will stitch all that and then move on like a fuzzy. There we go. Okay. All right. So that's my start on him. And that's actually a fairly good start. That was, I got kind of bored stitching on this next one. So I switched and started stitching on Meerkats. So let me get that back in there. Okay, so this one is the one that I kind of got a little bit bored stitching on. Not that I won't finish it, I will, because I really think it's cute. I just got tired of stitching on it at the moment. So, Wreath House is, I guess, by Hands On Design, and I started with this big one. And I have the fabric cut and ready to go for all three of them. And it is on the Splash Mint, which is why they're all in the same bag. So this is what I have. So I have half the roof, so that this half of the roof, I have the, whatever that's called. Then the wreath and the white going along for the snow here. So I actually got quite a bit done. I just have a hard time staying interested in block stitching, so I had to switch it up and go to something else. So that is Wreath Houses. And the last one in this bag is a freebie from Primrose Cottages. So this is the Happy St. Patrick's Day. And this is on a scrap of Vintage Stormy, I think. It's 18 count. And I did change this one. So in the pattern itself, the horseshoes are facing down. And I changed it because if the horseshoe's facing down, then all the luck is coming out. So I flipped them over and put them right side up. I'm in the process of stitching this big shamrock in the corner. And then I need to add the green into the hat. I think there's like one more, I want to say there's one more of the gold color somewhere, and then I'm done. So this one's almost done. And I think, and don't hold me to this, but I think I might try finishing this one as a drum. Maybe. I've never done a drum before, but I might do it. We will see. So that is Happy's. Are you keeping counts? I'm not. I know how many I have, but I'm not keeping count. Okay. I will fix that later. Okay. Next. Okay, so I've got a couple stitching with the Housewives. So I have Delivering Roses and Jar of Roses. So I have those two. The first one I have here is Delivering Roses. And this is on 14 count me dyed fabric. It's like a teal color. It really makes those flowers pop. Actually, it all pops. I really like how this is coming out on this fabric. This one would not take much for me to get it done. None of their patterns really take very long to stitch. There's that one. And then this is Jar of Roses. On the same, I just cut the fabric in half and did one on each side. And the camera is making it a slightly darker color than what it is. It's a little bit more bright. It's kind of making it a little dark. So that one's got some fairly good stitching time on it as well. Okay. And so those are together. Okay. The next ones. Okay. The next ones I have to show are. Trying to take this out of the bag without showing you the pattern because I left it on the outside. Okay, so this is Mama Witch's cross stitch, and I believe this one's called Strawberry Ghost. Yes, Strawberry Ghost. And he's super cute. And I'm stitching him on 18 count black. So his face looks kind of weird right now because this little chunk has like blush. So he has like little blushy cheeks, and then his eyes, and of course his mouth. So he looks a little bit weird right now, but that's quite a bit of stitching put in. So there's that one. The next one I have in here is another ghost. And this one is Ghost Shadow from Nath, Nolu. I fell in love with this pattern. He's so happy, and then this, like, he's got this mean ghost shadow behind him, and he's like so happy. He's like la 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 la, and like behind him, yeah. So I fell in love with this pattern. It's so cute. So anyway, I have a nice little start on him as well, and he is also on 18 count, and there he is. He's such a happy little ghost. So, and of course 18 count black is just 18 count black Ada. Then the last thing I have in this bag, which makes absolutely no sense, but you know, whatever, is Crocetta Gogo Little Penguin. And I am stitching this one on 14 counts, which I don't actually really do that often. Does it go like that? I am not really entirely sure which way this is supposed to be going. I will know when I look at the pattern. I think he's supposed to go this way. I'm not entirely sure. But the fabric has snowflakes on it, and I just have a little bitty start. This is his scarf. I'm not really sure if it goes this way or this way. I really can't tell. I will know when I look at it because I'll be able to see the pattern. But it's one of those ways. But this is the scarf, and he's going to be really cute on this snowflake. It's a really pale gray with a snowflake printed fabric. And it's 14 count, I think. Yes, 14 count. So those are the ones in this bag, which make absolutely no sense with this bag because this bag has lobsters on it. So, but, you know, whatever. I don't care. And I'm the one who has to look at it, so there is that. Okay, moving on. Next one is my monthly minis. I decided to do this year, and I have been keeping up. I did my May monthly mini for one of my new starts, and did I put him? Yes, I did. And I put him in the bag with the others. So, in case I did not show you my last ones, so this was my April, and then this one is my May. So this was a staff. I started it and finished it. It took me about 3 hours to do this one, and it is on 40 count raw. It's scrapped. It's just scrap pieces from when I did when I cut my piece for Forest Home. And I have just enough from the scrap pieces to do all 12 of the monthly minis. And June is coming up. That one is strawberries, so I'm super excited about that. And this is Primrose Cottage monthly minis. Okay. Then next up, next up, I have Ladybug Picnic, and I am using 35 count red pear because it's almost the same as the called for color. And this is what I have so far. So I did put, I think that's probably about 2 hours worth of stitching on it. I did find that this linen I needed to use a hoop with, otherwise my tension just was not looking good. And plus this one has a bunch of specialty stitches on it, so I wanted to make sure that the tension was really good. So I ended up grabbing a hoop and using that to stitch this. I don't normally do that. Okay. Next up are 2 different starts. And I'm honestly not sure about the one if I'm going to leave it that way. Okay, so I started the I'm Just My Dog's Treat Dealer first. And this is what I have so far. I'm Just My Dogs. This is on a scrap piece of linen. I do not know what it is. I think it is a 28 count. It looks like a 28 count because it's quite large. It is a piece of scrap linen that I picked up off of the freebie table at AZ Stitchers, I think. And then I also started the Please Understand I'm taking new friend request from Please Understand I am only taking new friend requests from dogs. And I am stitching that one on the same fabric, but I'm stitching it 1/1. So this is the P in Please. So I actually gave that quite a bit of time. It doesn't look like it because it's so small. But this is the one I'm not 100% sure I like how it's coming out. So I might restart this one. I think this fabric is still big enough to do it on, and I might just restart it on the other end and go down. Because I'm not super happy with the 1/1. I'm not sure. So those, and then I have one more in this one. And this is Strawberry Thieves by Quaint Rose Needlearts. Oh, I'm sorry, that was Scarlet House. So this one is Strawberry Thieves, Pin Keeps, from Quaint Rose Needlearts, and I started with this one. And I'm doing it on 40 count blush, and that's what I have. I have berries. Which actually, that's not bad, honestly. I am using all the called for colors, all the called for DMC colors. So that doesn't need to be in there because I'm not using that piece. Alrighty. So all these can go back in. Okay. It's a little weird because I have a hoop in there, and I'm not used to having hoops in anything. Start putting it over here before they fall over. Okay. Guess it would have helped if I put that back in there. Oh, geez. Next up is a bunch of Pigeon Coop designs. Alright, so first up is Spring Robin, and that one and all three of these I'm getting ready to show you are on me dyed fabrics. This is 18 count, and there is the start of my Spring Robin. I'm sorry, he goes that way, I think. Yes. So there's the start of my Spring Robin. He's actually stitching up fairly quickly. I could probably, in like one good day of stitching, I could probably have this one done. This is probably, I don't know, maybe 2 hours of stitching. But I'm really liking this blue fabric. It looks like sky. So I thought it was appropriate for my Spring Robin. And then I have this one I need to fold back over, so I'm just showing you the pattern. So this one I printed when my old printer, so the colors are a little faded, but the pattern's fine. This one is Orchard Raven, and I am stitching him on this really pretty gold color. He is really looking cool. It's got gold and a little bit of purple in the fabric. And so I think he's really going to like really look good on this. So there's that. I'll put that back in there. And then I have one more in this bag. And this is Blooming Swan, also from Pigeon Coop Designs. And this one I changed a little bit. So this one I decided, let me show you the pattern real quick again. So there's the pattern. I decided, wouldn't it be neat if I made it a black swan? So here is the start of my black swan. And that's like the tail feathers of the black swan. Also on a me dyed 18 count fabric. I think it's going to look really cool with the purple, not purpley, the pinky salmon colors that go with it. And you always see the white swans, but you never see the black swans. So I was looking at the fabric last night when I started that, and I was like, looking at the fabric, looking at the colors that I had pulled for these three patterns, and I was like, what if I made a black swan? So that's what I did. And I think it's going to look really cool, and you will see the progress as I get to it. So there are those three. Putting those over there so they don't fall over. Next up is Satsuma Streets. This one's got just a little bitty start on it. This is Holiday Glow. And this is also an 18 count me dyed fabric. And I just have that center candle started. But it stands up really nicely on that fabric. And I'm super, super excited to work this pattern up. on the camera, it looks, this fabric looks really cool. In person, it's not quite so dramatic. On camera, it looks really cool though. So yeah, super excited to do that on that fabric. And it's Satsuma Street, so there's tons of color. Very pretty. Super excited to work on it. I think it's going to stitch up quickly once I actually get a chance to sit down and focus on it. Next one is Fanciful Flowers from Hello by Liz Matthews. This one was also a market release this year that I picked up from my New Market order. So that's that. And I am using the called for Classic Colorworks. I need to get a couple more colors, but I have most of them from my stash. So I had most of them here. And I am doing, this is 16 count Black Magic from my vintage Needlearts. And I have, that's how white it is. So not super impressive, although it did take a while because I had to count all of those stitches. And they are individual because they are fancy floss. But that is how white it is. So I still need to decide if I want to trim off this piece or wait until I'm done. It is definitely a usable piece, and I left myself a good, like, finger width amount on the sides. I don't know if I'm going to end up framing this or making it into a project bag. Stuff that's like this size, I usually end up making it into a project bag. I think I said it. This is 16 count Black Magic from my vintage Needlearts. When I buy colored Ada, that's who I typically buy from because I really like her colors and her fabric. So, and her prices are very reasonable. If I'm buying linen, I typically go to like 1-2-3 Stitch, or I pick it up at the attic when I'm there. But Ada, I will typically either dye myself or order it from her. All right, one more. We are almost there. Okay. This one is Hive Rules by Primrose Cottage. And I have been wanting to start this collection for a while. And I happened to have a piece that was big enough to start the Hive Rules on. So I did. And it's probably way bigger than I need because it's only 4 inches wide. But I wanted to make sure, because I don't know how I'm going to finish it. I know I'm going to finish it to hang and probably hang in my classroom, but I don't know. So I started right in the middle, always. It is on 18 counts, Vintage Country Mocha. And I am super excited. I think it's going to stitch up very quickly once I start working on it. I'm using all the called for colors. I do plan on doing the other ones in the series. There is the freebie that's in this book as well that I plan on stitching, and I do not have the other ones yet, but they all use the same colors, and I really want to pick up the other ones at some point as I get near a finish on this probably, because if I have them, I will be tempted to work on them. So since this is a larger piece, I want to get closer to a finish on this. Maybe when I am at the point where I'm like ready to start the freebie in this one, then I'll pick up the other ones in the series, because not only do I like the whole bee thing, this is actually in a bee bag that I made, but the colors as well, just the colors themselves. All right, so that was my little mini WIP parade for my Maynia starts. Like I said, I did finish 3 of my new starts, and I showed you 2 of them, so I might as well show you the last one. This was the other one that I started and finished. This is Christmas Hippo from the Blue Flower. And yeah, so that is all 31 new starts and a few finishes. So if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you haven't watched my latest Flosstube, that should be posted before this one gets posted. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.